But I want to go to Paul Petit since I have Paul here. Paul, thank you. You're actually at home. We're not used to seeing you in a studio environment. Thank you for all the work you've done with Flashpoint, from floods to Israel. But you had a special story that I wanted you to come on here and set it up about what you saw, because you've been in southern Israel for quite an extended amount of time.
Yes, I was there over a 6-week period this summer, and it just happened to be at the very point in time when the expose came out, when the New York Times used that photo of a child with a spinal condition that became the poster child for starvation. So we began to see the unraveling, if you will, of the media spin, which both Larry and Hank were talking about earlier. So like Larry, I went down to a kibbutz. And for those who don't recall, a kibbutz is like a little communal area off the southern border of Gaza in southern Israel. And I actually went there. I was driven by my good friend and colleague, Chris Mitchell from CBN, which we just saw. And I got to sit down with a survivor of October 7th. And she's going to explain here in a second about how she was sitting at home like everybody else was, having breakfast on that early morning, and found herself 17 hours locked up in her safe room connected to the kibbutz. So let's take a look here and see exactly what she went through.
Yeah, play it.
Homes in kibbutz Be'eri in southern Israel are a daily reminder of October 7.
We woke up at 6:30 and we heard the bombs, and there was a lot of them.
This kibbutz was among the first targets of Hamas terrorists. Avivit and her younger daughter made their way to their safe room, where she called her older daughter, who lived in a kibbutz closer to the Gaza fence.
She said, they want to kill me and my family.
Avivit says the sound of gunfire was tormenting.
On the WhatsApp group, there were many people talking about that they are being attacked, their houses are getting burned.
Avivit recalls the terrifying feeling, wondering if she and her daughter would make it out alive.
It was just like you are stuck in a situation, you are just falling into a situation, suddenly wake up to it, and you can't get out of it.
After 17 hours in the safe room, Avivit says she heard people speaking in Hebrew, IDF soldiers. She points to the window the soldiers climbed through to take her and her daughter past the burning homes and to safety.
So one woman that she knew that her husband and her son were killed.
Of the some 1,200 people killed on October 7th, 102 were from kibbutz Be'eri. That's about 1 out of every 13 people living here. Avivit and her family survived.
This is just one of the kibbutzes where more than 100 people were murdered, many kidnapped. Every day they look at what happened here on October 7th. For some, they decided not to move away. In fact, they decided to stay for a very clear purpose.
I saw that my duty, that my mission to come back here and keep the place keep it alive.
It's a long road to recovery for Avivit and the residents of kibbutz Be'eri. Of the 1,200 people that once called this place home, 300 decided to move away. These burned-out houses remain frozen in time. The 48 hostages still in captivity make it hard to forget October 7th.
Because of the hostages, they keep on dealing with it and dealing with that.
Avivit had neighbors that were killed. One was taken hostage. All of it a painful memory of the deadliest day in the history of Israel.
You think it'll ever be the same?
What?
This kibbutzi?
If it will not be the same?
As it was, normal life again.
The whole world is not the same.
Reporting for Flashpoint from southern Israel, I'm Paul Petit.
Thank you, Paul, for that story. Paul, you spent quite an extended amount of time there. How did this had to affect you? I know you're a seasoned journalist, but I want to hear, how did this affect you spending that much time talking to these people and hearing their stories?
When you hear the story, it becomes real to you, right? And I think hearing what the media has done with us, and as a journalist, I can speak directly to this, is the challenge is you can't show the graphic videos that are all over and available on YouTube when you're on the news. You have FCC regulations. You have to actually search it out, and even those are somewhat scrubbed. So I think over time here, and when I was there, hearing and seeing it and hearing the stories of rape are just mind-boggling, where people were shot in the very act of that atrocity, if you will, of being sexually assaulted. This is the kind of thing that went on. They were shooting dogs just standing around. This is how demonic that this group is. I had the interview with Ambassador Huckabee, which was here, and your Army got to see that story, and he called them accurately a death cult, exactly what it was. And I think the problem over time has been, because the video somewhat gets scrubbed, you really don't see the atrocity front and center. And now 2 years forward, the media, again, the fact that the reason this all began was because of October 7th, where they attacked civilians innocently. And that now has been reduced to basically 2 lines, perhaps at the end of the article on these news stories. And so for the general public out there, the viewers and the readers, I think they forgot how this all began, and all they're getting pummeled with is genocide, direct starvation, purposely, and you lose the connection. So when you're there and you see it and you talk to these people and you drive by those burned out buildings that you saw, that's not file footage. They sit there today, as I said, frozen in time, bullet riddled, and they took those homes. They made sure they were on fire to get the people out with the smoke, the residents out, and then they shot them dead right there. So when you see that and you see the video that unfortunately a lot of the public can't see, it brings it to a whole new level, a sickening level, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely.